All right, everybody. Hello. Good to have you back. Good to see you, Paul Tranny.
Oh, is that Paul Tranny?
Yeah. Oh, is this James? James Hsu in the house again?
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Back and more fab, fit, and fun than ever, as they say.
Just got to do it.
Just got to do it.
Do it live on Adobe Live, you know?
Yeah.
Why not?
It's good to see you here, man. This is going to be fun.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, let's into it. We get to have you for a couple hours. Big thank you to Andrea Hawk, who just kicked off the XD Daily Creative Challenge. So that actually kicked off the Photoshop one and the XD one today. Tomorrow we're going to review sort of day one, but as for today, just kind of click through the schedule. Join us also at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, but we have Juan Jose doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. We had Dave Arcade just took off. Andrea Hawk just did the XD, and this goes for tomorrow as well. And we have James up for 2 hours doing some XD design systems.
Ooh, 2 full hours.
2 full hours. What are we gonna do with all that time? So much pressure.
All right, great live.
Good. All right. What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? Anyways, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
No, we love having you. Love having you back. I think, how long ago was it you were here? It was probably like
Yeah, it was probably this time last year.
Because we were actually in the old building. I think, honestly, coming out of some temporary space about a year ago.
That was a fun time, though.
Yeah, it was good. And now here we are in front of a live studio audience, as you can see all these people. Good to see you there. I can't believe so many. Good to see you back. And yeah, it's nice to have our own space where we don't have to tear down and all that fun stuff.
For sure.
But we get to learn about this fancy guy drinking.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know, just straight gin out of a glass in the bathtub.
That's just water.
Oh, okay, it's just water.
That's what everyone asks me. So a little bit about me. My name is James Hsu. I call myself a designer and friend. I am currently the principal product designer at FabFitFun. Find me online at ojamesy. You can look at my website, see kind of the old work that I've done before at hellojameshsu.com. And so today, Paul, what are we going to do today?
Yeah, that is we're hopefully going to inform and entertain you. So let us know if you have questions. All be like sort of XD, UX, UI related.
Yeah, absolutely. So
boom.
So boom, there it is.
What?
So taking us into the project that we're going to have today. So I had this concept a couple of years ago where wouldn't it be great if you just had enough of your life and you could just go to a website and click a single button and book the next trip out of here?
You need a get me out of here button.
Yeah, exactly.
Get me out of here.
Exactly. So when I talked to Paul and the guys here at Adobe, I talked about this idea and basically just about building out a design system. So today I'm gonna walk you guys through how to create this landing page, just one pager right here that uses Adobe XD and also creates an entire design library for you to be able to leverage. So creating components, establishing your typographic hierarchies, make sure that those things are scalable so that you can reuse them. So this is going to be useful for anyone that manages the team or anyone that works on a team that has multiple collaborators, because the important thing is that you always want to kind of have one single source of truth, because if you're working with different component libraries, that's where kind of things get really hairy. And are we using the 60 pixel button, or are we using the 64 pixel button? There's a lot of questions that get raised. So we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of all that and help iron out all those wrinkles and just talk about how it's all built and made.
Yeah, very into it. And also, it looks like on the left-hand side is that kind of the design system that you kind of
exactly
dabbled with.
Yeah.
It looks way cool, by the way. I love this. It really does. It looks awesome.
Hey,
I love that type style. I love that. I could easily see some parallax would be fun as it scrolls.
Hey, that's courtesy of Typekit right there.
Oh yeah, wow, I love that font.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna ask you at least 3 times. You're gonna be like, "What font is that?"
Don't worry, we'll get into it.
Okay. So I'm just into it.
All right, so this is where we're going to end up, hopefully at the end of day 2. But from the beginning, we're just going to start from scratch. So we see what the final plated dish looks like, and now we're just going to jump into it and see how to cook it.
Oh yeah.
You ready for this?
Let's get to the cooking.
All right, great.
There we go. Ooh, we're starting from
straight up scratch
into it.
So we're just going to open up a what?
Julia already is like, "What font is that?"
Wait, do you want?
I was like, "We're gonna get asked like 5 times."
All right, let's just get to the bottom of it right now. We'll find it right now. So I've already prepared a couple files for us. So let me just jump into it. so that we can, so no more questions, and then we'll type it out. All right, here it is. So this font here is called Modesto. Modesto, and I'm pretty sure if we just look it up, boom, there it is, courtesy of yours truly from Adobe.
Modesto.
Modesto, here it is. So the one that I'm using here is, it's one of these variants. It's probably, so yeah, we'll just try it out. We're gonna take a look.
Tokyo.
It's one of these, and you see I kerned it real tight so it could have that nice ligature. And let me just tell you right now, that was not an accident.
Oh yeah, the kerning.
Yeah, take a look at this. So turn that on, check that out. Boom. So
Tokyo.
I'll get into the nitty gritty of this, but first things first, we're just gonna set it out. So I've got a little wireframe here that I've prepared for us just to be able to kind of drive us. So I kind of prepared this off camera just so that we can have like a little map to guide us along the way. So when I'm starting to design any kind of web project, I want to set up my artboards and my grid, and any designer that's worth their grit and salt is going to be able to tell you what kind of grid they're using, how many columns it is, what the gutter measurements are. And anyone that doesn't have their grid set up, I mean, I don't know what to say other than I don't think you're actually practicing design.
Oh, that was
I'm sorry. I just had to fire those shots off.
Go full screen with this, or like stretch out.
Okay, how's this going?
In all its glory. And by the way, so there, right next to you, is that what you say by wireframe? Is it this little bad boy? This is switch to like our full screen, and I mean, we won't do the camera, but just kind of show. Again, this is kind of, you did some initial sketches, you're like, okay, I kind of have an idea for what we're going to roll with.
Right, and the whole point of it is to try to get like an initial understanding of what kind of ingredients you want to have, just like the order, what kind of messaging you want to have. So, you've already seen it. So we've got a hero section, we've got 2 main airports, which are Haneda and Narita. So I have the luxury of knowing which 2 airports they are just because I've been to Tokyo a couple times. So they're basically 2 main airports. So we're just going to be designing for those 2.
Into it. And James, I think it's interesting, like your background is as a designer, yeah?
That's correct.
Right? And like how long have you been doing sort of user interface type work?
Well, it's funny. I started as a visual designer, and I kind of transitioned into UI UX. So it's... When I was a really young designer, I thought I was doing UX, but actually I was just doing UI.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yep. That's cool. But I could easily see you just doing a graphic design stream for us.
Oh, totally.
You know, because you're obviously just even looking at the final baked version. Obviously, some design skills going into that.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Aside from your UX and UI.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, the way I see it is there's kind of like 2 paths, right? There's single diamond, which is like very visual design focused. That's like all the finishes, the drywall in a house. It's like, do I want the bronze sink or do I want the gold sink? Do I want the white toilet or I want the black toilet? It doesn't matter. Like you can just reskin those things. And then there's double diamond, and that's like deciding what kind of house do you want to build. Do you want to live in a pyramid? Do you want to live in like 1950s ranch style? That's like, how's it got to work? How many bathrooms is it going to have? Are we going to have the lofted garage? Like, you tell me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're doing now. We're trying to figure out if we want a lofted garage or not.
Exactly.
Or what do we want? Do we want a duplex? We want a single family home, modern, right?
Exactly.
All good thoughts.
So the first thing I'm going to do is just set out the sections, just to kind of lay out the foundation for us. You see with the housing analogies. So one of the nice things I really like about XD is they kind of set this fold line for you right here. So this is the default artboard setting, which is set to 1920. It's a little wide. It's a little bit wider than we design at FabFitFun, but everyone's got a wide screen these days, so this is really good and safe. So this fold line is where, whenever you hear any stakeholder or kind of any design director tell you, beware of the fold or make sure it's above the fold, this is what they're talking about. And they just want you to make sure that the most important messaging is right here. So we're just going to leave that there.
I feel like also like back in the day, like doing a lot of web design, that was a pretty big deal. Was remember that fold line? Oh, it's below the. Oh, they'll never see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I get it. Like people know how to scroll.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Right.
Like we get it.
Right. Well,
But I just remember that being such a huge deal.
Well, the funny thing is, it comes from back in the day, from when editorial newspapers used to be a thing, right? Like that's where you wanted your most important headline to be. You didn't want the important information to be below that fold. That's literally where the message.
That's
the word
awesome.
comes from.
Literally from newspapers, how they were stacked. You got that one headline. That was your chance to grab.
Exactly.
That totally works.
So I'm just going to do a couple things here, which is just going to help me. So Adobe recently. Sorry, is there a question?
Oh, no. I just did want to do a shout out to Huxel. Huxel, we reviewed his portfolio today.
Hey.
And he's usually always online, and he missed it, though.
Hey, shout out to Huxel.
Huxel, you're the man.
You're going to have to go back in time and look at your own portfolio review.
It was very good, very super fascinating. I thought yours was really fascinating. So we really appreciate you. Just so you know, we are doing portfolio reviews today, so we'll get a chance to do that in about 90 minutes. Review a couple portfolios, so get those in, but we also just have a random giveaway coming up in about 19 minutes. Exactly 19 minutes.
Exactly.
Because that's how good we are around here.
Okay.
Unless we forget. Just kidding.
All right, so I'm going to do a couple of other things.
Ooh, you're busting out the grid. Okay, layout.
Yep, so we got two grid types. So basically, most people just think about grid design as this column layout. I like to take it to another level. So at FabFitFun, we practice the lowest common denominator of 3, meaning that anything that we have should be divisible by 3. So that's where this gutter width comes from. That way everything kind of has a ratio. So we're going to set it. This is just the y-axis, or sorry, the x-axis, right? And here's where we're going to go next level. We're going to go into our square layout and make sure that this is already set to 6, because I was already messing around in here, so this is already set to 6.
See that? The 6 pixel squares?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So this is important and really granular because it's kind of like sets a visual tempo for your design. Basically, you want to give readers like a baseline to be able to grab onto to make sure that they can like read things at a good rhythm. And so this is really going to help with your typography.
James, did you know, like, I don't know, at a young age that you would be a designer or artist or anything like that? Did you kind of have an idea? Just kind of curious.
I kind of did, actually. I was always kind of like doing artistic things, but it's funny. I grew up in an Asian household, so my mom really didn't want me to pursue like an art degree. So she's like, you got to pursue something with like computers. And so I originally started out as a comp sci major, and I transitioned into graphic design. So.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I realized I didn't meet the math requirement, because turns out math is kind of hard.
Math is kind of hard.
Just a little bit.
It's true. What's this math? It doesn't make. I get it. What are these rules?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump back.
But here you are actually dealing with grids and stuff like that, so you can like you're escaping it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so let's take a look at what we want next. So we're just going to set up a couple of the basic components. So that Tokyo asset, we're actually going to keep it baked into this background, because this is kind of like what makes it really beautiful, is that it has this beautiful mask. And actually, I don't know, like, I guess I'll get into that later. Let's set up the base components.
I love that mask, though. I love how you chop that text. I think it's the little things.
It really is. So we're going to do
and again, like, you buy the house, you understand the basic structure of your house, which is like, it's like a travel website where I'm going to be able to book tickets. So that's your house, if you will.
Exactly.
But what really grabs me is that design, like how it looks is really what grabs me. So
exactly, because it's kind of your hero image, right? So you want that to be kind of your first and foremost thing. So the whole idea of building this whole section is that we want to start standardizing our components. So I'm going to create our initial CTA, which is going to say I'm ready. Oh, did I do that right? I think I did, yeah. I'm just going to turn this off real quick. So we have a rule of thumb that we practice on my team, which is the minimum height that we practice for our main CTAs is 48 pixels. And that comes out of the Apple Human Interface Guidelines for mobile. And they recommend a tap target size of 44 points. So like I always say to my team, we're generous. We gave them 4 extra pixels. But because this is a hero, we're actually going to make it a little bit bigger. So we're going to make it 120. So we're going to standardize a couple of things as well while we're just at it. So,
yeah, dropping in some fonts, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So this is my favorite workhorse font, available on Typekit, Proxima Nova. So we're just going to do a couple things to make it standardized.
Why do you like Proxima Nova?
It's just a good sans serif geometric. So it's like one that you know is going to look good for headings as well as body copy.
And it has like enough like variations, you know, your bolds, your thins, italics. Yeah. That's one thing I look for as well. Like, and in Typekit, you could actually, you know, maybe it's not that straightforward, but you could search by sort of sans serif and then click all the buttons from thin to thick and serve up all those fonts that have all those different variations.
Totally.
And Proxima Nova, I'm sure, will be one that will come up.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to set, this is like the equivalent, you know when you're writing a paper and you kind of like write the outline and you have like the bullet points of everything? I'm just going to do the same thing for us right here. Just setting up the buttons, the colors, and then also the fonts. So it's interesting because this portion is probably the least exciting, but actually the most important. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've created a new artboard, and this is going to be an artboard for all of our master components. This will be kind of like our North Star or Book of Truth, where we're always going to reference back to this. So this is where when we create a new component, we're going to put our master components here. So I'm creating this hero CTA, which is using a couple different things, but let's I don't know, should I do the button first or should I do the type first? I'll do the button.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you need to kind of do them at the same time, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm just going to make some design decisions. I'm going to see what this looks like. And actually I really want a rounded button, so.
Does that button have a stroke on it?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Richard. What you're watching is James Hsu's doing a design for basically Tokyo tourism. Is that what you'd call it, or what do you call it?
Yeah, it's a concept landing page where you can just come and click one button and look up all the flights to Tokyo.
Sweet.
So that's for like when you've had enough of your life and you just want to get
wanna
out of here.
bounce.
You just want to get out. You know, we've all been there, right?
Yeah, into it.
Yeah, see,
Get your
he knows.
get out of town card, just click and you're off. And this is done in XD for those of you who are or aren't familiar. We're doing an XD daily challenges as well, so that just kicked off today. And you could watch the replay of that video with Andrea. Boom, there it is, dropping it over there. So this is your style guide, is kind of what you're making right now?
Exactly. So I'm just going to set a couple things up so we have them. So this is the difference between designing an actual product versus like designing something just, you know, to collect shows and likes. You actually need to think about the different states of all your different components. So that's what I'm setting up right here for us. And there's also like other things to think about, which, you know, when you hand off to your engineering team for development, they're going to say how big is this button, what are the different states of it, what kind of hex swatches should we use, and you can get a lot of that from your handoff tool. But the important thing is to have these decisions already made in your back pocket. So I'm just going to create a couple different states here for our button. So this is going to be our normal state. I'm going to do a couple of things here too. Oh, you know, I did this a dumb way. Let me do this the right way.
And this is good. I'm glad you're going through this process, by the way. This is perfect. I don't even know what you're going to do, by the way.
Check this out. Boom.
Oh.
Check this out. So this is one of the really nice features about XD is this repeat grid feature. You can actually just duplicate all of your components. Let's make sure we get that right. Ungroup it, and boom, there they are.
Yeah, perfect. Raymond's new here as well, so I'm sure you appreciated that. Again, select any element. It's that repeat grid button in the upper right. But you do exactly what everybody does. It's like you duplicate something a couple times, and you're like, oh wait,
there's a feature for this.
Like,
yeah,
and
totally.
then it's interesting.
So I'm gonna do a couple other things too while we're here. So I'm just gonna create this rectangle, and let's just make it 160 by 160. And I'm gonna eyedrop this and add it into our component sheet as a color, just so we have it. And actually I don't need this one, so I'm gonna delete that one.
And, okay, cool. So this is interesting. Assets panel, added that color. I don't think the buttons are linked to that, but it could be. Oh, by the way, thank you for saving your document. Because
That might have been
all the last session with Dave Arcade, I don't think he saved once.
Ooh,
which
living
has
on
me a
the
little
edge.
concerned because it's like the computer's right over there.
Just living on the
and he
edge. Ooh.
saved. I feel like sending him a message. Like, hey man.
That gives me a little bit of anxiety just thinking about it.
I know it does.
Just rolling through a whole document, not even hitting save once.
Dave, save it. Save your document. Okay.
See, that's like when you're playing high stakes poker in Vegas. You just put it all out there, you know?
I know. And usually chat's really good. They're like, hey, save the file. I don't know if you did or didn't, but I feel like I feel like you've gotten like even in Photoshop. Remember back in the day when you used to lose files, like, and you'd have to redo stuff.
Why you gotta bring that up?
No. But it used to be a thing, and lately it's just like not a thing because it always has that recovery file,
Right.
depending at certain stages. But I just remember being on a PC, having Photoshop crash or some app crash, and having to rebuild everything.
Right.
And thinking today we just don't deal with that as much.
Dude,
Of course, I probably jinxed it, didn't I?
No, dude, I did the exact same thing.
You did.
I did. So check this out. Let me just talk through a little bit about what I'm doing right now.
That was very smart, that move too.
Thank you. This guy pays attention to the details.
Yeah, into it.
So what I did was I created one color swatch that has our primary color. So most of the time when you're working on any product, they're going to have an official like brand color, and in this case we've decided that it's red, and so they're going to have this primary swatch. So this is a homage to any of you graphic designers out there that had to study color theory. So the way that we define our swatch is our most saturated one right here, and then we're going to go basically light and then very light. And then we're gonna go dark and then very dark. So this is touching on our main hue right here, and then we're gonna capture 2 tints and 2 shades. So this is what I like to do. So check this out. We're used to this menu right here, the hexadecimal menu, but click that drop down, click that HSB. HSB stands for hue, saturation, and brightness. So right here, the hue is already set to red, the brightness set to 99, or saturation set to 99, and brightness set to 3. So we're gonna go a little bit lighter. So we're just gonna mess with a little bit of this. So we're gonna go a little bit lighter, we're gonna reduce the saturation, and that actually looks pretty good right there. And so we're gonna start from this light shade now, and we're gonna go even lighter. So that looks pretty good. Interesting thing about red is whenever you add white to it, it becomes pink. So we're going to do the same thing for the shades now.
It's interesting that you know the difference between tints and shades, which is a thing,
Well,
because everybody's like, change the color.
Well, that's how you know I'm legit, and I went to a legit design school.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cal Poly Pomona.
What up, Cal Poly? That's right, I did that.
That's right. Not officially, not really known for the design program, but now they are.
Ray, by the way, there is autosave, by the way. So there is autosave. If you're using cloud documents, it automatically saves and updates the file. So there's that.
Boom, look at that. I feel like I just stepped into a Blick art store. Look at that.
Blick is very California too, isn't it? Blick?
It is. Yeah. So check this out. You might be
In
asking...
Denver, it's Skyries. And what is it on the East Coast? I don't know. I don't know if there's Blicks there.
I don't know. Any of our viewers know? Feel free to type it in the comments.
Hello, Michael Crabtree. Michael Crabtree, you were in Atlanta, or let us know what the art store is in Georgia. But continue, sorry.
So check this out. The reason, you might be asking yourself, why did I do this? And the reason why is because we can add into our asset library now. So we've got all these colors now, and so that I order it the same way, where I put the primary swatch in the middle, and then I put the darks at the bottom, and the light tints at the top. So boom, that way you have this kind of nice thing. And then I like to label them too. That way we can
yeah, very cool.
reference them.
Oh, Blick is in Kansas City as well. Okay, Kansas City. Sorry, I was thinking Atlanta, but I knew it was kind of that direction. I apologize.
See, I'm doing this.
Blick is in New York City too. Wow.
So I'm doing this the hard way.
This is why, you know what I think is smart about what you're doing here is you're not calling it red, lighter red, blah, 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 blah. Because you could end up, I noticed I end up changing those colors anyways. So it's like me calling it the specific color red doesn't do me any favors.
Exactly.
Saying it's primary, that's the key.
Right. Oh, what I did that wrong.
What's up, Andrew? Andrew, you know Andrew.
Do I?
Horseradish? Yeah, you know Andrew.
Oh, horseradish. Hey, Andrew! Shout out to Andrew right there. Hey!
Hey, what's up? Good to see you, man.
All right, so check this out. I already kind of messed this up because I had all of these selected and it just like turned it into our very light thing. But
it's fine.
Yeah,
because you want it to be linked anyway.
Yeah,
so this is good.
So boom, anytime I have something,
This is huge.
it's really big. So check this out. I don't even have to mess with it anymore. So there it is. We brought it back.
Do that last one because you want it linked, right?
Is it? Oh yeah, it's already linked.
So what about the red button color? Is that linked?
Can you link it like that?
Yeah, you can.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
How?
I mean, you got to click on. You'd have to click on
Yeah.
it, and now it's linked.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of wish there was an indicator, but the only way to tell if it's linked is if you change the color, and it changes.
Right. So that's the reason why I created the color swatch. So actually, I'm going to finish this up with the last one because I do want kind of like that sexy CTA color. So I'm going to go right here, change the fill to linear gradient, and I'm going to start messing around with this.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a big fan of this 45-degree gradient, if I can do it right.
Liberty Gallagher. Sorry it's hard to keep up. This is being recorded as well, so we are covering a lot. Get involved in the daily creative challenges, by the way. Might be a good way to just kind of stretch those skills.
Just stretch them.
Stretch them.
All right, what do I want to do? I want to get a little wild with this, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, hold on. Maybe that's too wild. All right, so let's bring this back.
That looks nice too. Andrew, what's up? Green palette.
What? Someone wants green?
Sweet.
Is that what you said? Ooh, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's the one.
All right, look at that. Look how weird that looks.
I like it.
So we're gonna save this one too. We're just gonna save this as a gradient.
And it does. It saves gradients, which is awesome.
So anytime
when it does apply them, it does do it at a sort of linear top-down method and not at the angle. But I'm just glad it saves those.
Yeah. Actually, maybe it's too saturated. I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit.
Less than a minute for chat and win. Kroll's ready.
All right, so the reason why I even set this up was so that we can actually come back to our actual component and have them linked to the colors. So we're defining a couple different states. We already got our normal state here. We've got our hover state, an active state, and a disabled state, but we haven't actually decided any of these colors. So for this one, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a little bit lighter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this very light, this light. For active, we're gonna go dark. And then for disabled, we're actually not going to use one of these. We're going to use a gray because we want it to look disabled. So we're just going to come up here and change it this way. And then we're also going to set the opacity down to 50%.
I don't know if I'd really call it disabled. You should call it handy capable button. Bad joke.
Handy capable. So check this out.
It's capable of being handy. It's just not right now.
Exactly. And then for the main normal button, we're actually gonna change it. Whoa, look at that.
Ooh,
Look at that.
That's pretty.
That's kind of wild, right? All right.
I love it. I love those gradients. Hey, you know what? It's time for some other gradients. I'd love to see some other gradients on our screen if we could.
Right now?
Seeing as it's time for chat and win.
Okay.
What? Those gradients going on, those bursts, which are very inspirational for what we're doing. So we're going to dive into this, everybody. It's time for Chat and Win. Tell us how you like your coffee in the morning or tea. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you. Fantastic. Chat and Win. That means you just need to put something in chat, preferably in English, so we know that it's just not a cat walking on the keyboard. It's an actual person, and we're going to give you some free stickers from Sticker Mule, 100 of them. What we do is we bust into your house and we just start slapping them on you, like 100 of them. Pop, 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 pop. We just cover you in stickers.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's what you could win. People like black coffee. Always curious. Do you drink coffee?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay. Cold brew. I'm actually in a cold brew phase right now.
Hey, shout out to Nihar, my dude.
Nihar's in the house.
That's right.
He's helping you win.
That's right.
We're just gonna draw a name at a random, and we picked Angbu. What an interesting name. I want to be Angbu.
Here we go.
Angbu is our winner.
No, dude, that says Angbo.
Angbo. Angbo. I have one job.
One job.
Pronounce somebody's name.
Paul.
Angbo. Angbo wins 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. So we're just going to bust down your drawer. Slap them on it. Just kidding. You get to design what you want.
Oh, look at those.
Make you 100 of them.
Those are nice.
Yeah, super cool, huh? So yeah, we like Sticker Mule. They're our friends.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to get involved. So there is also, as you know, a URL if you do want to make your own stickers. Stickermule.com/Adobe Live 19. And you can get 100 stickers for like $1 or something like that. Something crazy.
That's cool.
Sorry, 10 3x3 die cut stickers for $1. So that works. Anyways.
All right, so here's the actually kind of like interesting part about creating this button component is they're all kind of their own buttons. And so to actually make it a functioning component that you can kind of put all together, you actually need to do it like this. So I duplicated them, and then we've got them all right here. They're not labeled. So the first thing I'm going to do is just relabel them so that they're correct. So this one, we're just going to call normal.
See that off to the side? There's the assets panel. Or actually, you're in the layers.
Yeah.
Layers panel.
Yeah, I'll show you where I'm going with this. So check this out. And then, all right, so check this out. All these buttons by themselves are just one state, but then, oh, actually, let me order them correctly.
Do you find this, you do this a lot? Are you pretty particular? I feel like you're pretty particular with like the ordering of things, and
it's just important.
It's very
it's
clean.
Just well, the more that you do this now, the easier it's going to make your life later. It's like, you know, when you go on a trip and then you like don't make your bed, and then when you come back home, you're like, oh man, I really wish I made my bed so I could just go to sleep. Just make your life easier for yourself.
Yeah.
So I've had plenty of conversations where future James has suffered because present James has not made any good decisions.
Yeah. Do it for future James.
Exactly. Do it for your future self.
Do it for your future self.
So
I like that.
So check this out. I renamed them. I'm just going to align them all here so that they're all over each other. And then from here, I'm going to create a component. And what I did was just press Command K. And so now I'm just going to call this Hero CTA. So now you know this is the main component, main master component, because it's got that diamond there. So any other child of this is going to reflect whatever decisions you make here. So the cool thing is I've got this cool component now, and now I can jump into it. And if I have other states that I want to show, I just turn these layers off. So we're here on a normal state, and if we wanted to show the hovered state, there it is. And if we wanted to go into active state, there that is. Or if we had a case where it was a disabled button, boom.
And then I'm sorry, I missed all of that. I was telling Dave Arcade to save his illustration. Did he save his illustration? I'm so bad.
He probably did.
I'm such a jerk.
He probably did. It's not a big deal.
I think I know what you did, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But
So I'll show you right now. So I'll bring this over. I've got it copied on my clipboard. And so I'm just going to bring this over. Boom. Got our main. This is a child of the master component.
Boom. Bam.
Boom.
I'm ready.
So check this out.
Boom.
It's a normal button, right? But if I wanted it to be a hover state, just...
Shabam.
Oh, hold on. That's the active state. If I wanted it to be a hover, boom.
And it does it just for that one instance.
Exactly. And you'll be able to tell because it won't have that diamond right here.
And I love that. That's how you, because I was wondering how you're going to turn that on and off. Your layers panel is a good way to just obviously navigate your layers, because you're not going to be able to tell what's what.
Exactly.
Since they're all stacked.
Yeah, so this is a really good solution for just being able to show different states of your components, because these are buttons, which are pretty straightforward, but we're going to get into drop downs. We're going to have form fields, and those all have different states as well that are very, very similar. So, your engineering team will thank you for this. Your product managers will thank you for this, because everything will have been thought through, and that's, in my opinion, one of the recipes for being a really strong, competent designer.
Yeah. No, you're set up, and this is going to make all the changes easy. Everything's stacked on a one. Like this seems good. So people are really into it.
Are they?
Joe says nice tip. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, he said nice tip.
Oh.
Ooh. All right, so I'm blanking a little bit on what the messaging we talked about was. So I'm just gonna take a peek. I'm gonna take a peek at what we said. Get a ticket anywhere in Tokyo. Get a ticket to anywhere in Tokyo right now. So check this out. We'll type that in.
Have we told you the name of the font yet? The name of that big font is Modesto.
Modesto. Yeah, just go ahead and type it in the chat.
And then for the smaller one is what?
This is Proxima Nova.
Proxima Nova. So there you have it.
So this actually brings us into our next valuable component / asset / pattern library, which is going to be this section here. Is all about typography. Oh man, there's so much to unpack here, and it is going to be awesome. So for those of you who are just getting your feet wet into web design, let me kind of help build out your mental model. So there's basically two different types of type classes, and they're your headers and your P tag, which is your paragraph tag. And so to break it down for you even further, that just means what does your heading look like, or your header, and what does your body copy look like. There's other more nuanced ones like block quote and things like that, but we're not going to get into that because this is not a web coding course. This is a Adobe XD course.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to Google this string right here, which is the quick brown fox. Fun fact, did you know that the reason why this is the default text is because it contains every character of the alphabet?
No, I didn't know that.
It's kind of cool, right?
Good one.
He's so not impressed.
No, I am impressed.
It contains, and look at this. It's got every letter. You can see it all here.
I was almost like, where's the Z and the Q? Oh, there's it. Where's the Q? Oh, that. Yeah, well, that one's there too.
So the way that I like to set it up is I like to have the label here on the left side. I right align it, and then I make the example here on the right side, and I left align that. So we're just going to do this for so for headings. They vary from H1 through 6, and they're all just different degrees of heading. So your H1 is going to be your most prominent one, and all the way down to your H6, which is going to be less prominent. So we're just going to repeat grid ourselves.
You guys see that? Awesome.
Yeah, how do we want to do this? There it is. So we'll just
repeat grid.
Oh yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Because otherwise this would have been a lot of work. So they're still grouped here?
And you wouldn't even need to ungroup them, really.
Really?
Yeah, because your text is going to be different. No, I take that back, because once you change the style, because I assume you're going to change the style.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to ungroup them and just label them correctly. And you'll see why now I labeled each of these that. So we're just going to focus on our header tags for now. Oh, did I miss one? I totally did. I'm missing the H6. Oh, look at that. I messed up the perfect alignment.
Boom. Good thing you got those smart guides.
Thanks, Adobe XD team.
Thank you. Thanks, Adobe XD. Thanks for being so helpful.
All right, so we're going to go into the nitty gritty of typographic details. A couple plays from the James Hsu handbook over here. All right.
Ooh.
All right. So remember earlier we talked about grids. We talked about our column grid. We also talked about our baseline grid, which is this square grid right here. This is where it's all gonna come into play. So let's turn on our square
I feel like I'm
grid.
being tested.
You're being tested.
I feel like I don't remember this. I need a notebook to actually write this
Did I
down.
do this right? I was like, how come it's not showing up?
Okay.
So check this out.
It's the 6-point grid, right?
Exactly. So this is the reason why, because you want to give yourself a baseline to adhere to, and so the font size is nice to have if it's a lowest common denominator. So I told you on my team we use 3. You can have it be 4. You can have it be 5, just as long as it's consistent. And the whole reason for that is to make sure that you have consistent proportions throughout your type. So you practice this, and so this is where it comes into play. Here's the rule of thumb that I use, that I was trained with my Type Academy, Type Ed. You're always looking for a line height or leading of 120%. So that doesn't always work out perfectly. So check this out. So we'll do 30 times 1.2, and 36 is perfect for this. But like this is an H1, so we actually want to go a little bit crazier. So it's going to be 54. So we'll try. Check this out. This will be a good example. So we get a weird number.
Yeah.
64.8. So this is not like a hard and fast rule, but I do like to get it close. So in this case, I'm just gonna go 60.
Okay.
And then it'll make sense now why we have the 6-point grid. So if I just change this setting here where I can change the text to be area text, it'll wrap, right? Oh, there it goes. Boom. Look at that perfect alignment.
Oh, right on. You got that 6-pixel grid, right?
Take a look at that.
Look at that. Look at that alignment.
I'll tell you right now, that is not an accident. That is intentional, meticulous typesetting.
Not just a pretty face here, folks. Got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a lot going on under that hat.
That's weird. It's like I went to design school or something.
It's like you went to. It's like you know what you're doing or something. Look at that. Almost the thickness of the Z like is almost 6 pixels perfect.
So we're basically going to do this for all of our heading tags. You've seen how I did it for one, so let's just make it happen for the other ones. So we went 54. So I've done this for so long that I actually know all the multiples of 6. So I'm gonna do it quickly to save you guys the trouble.
The same guy who didn't want to do the computer science degree because of math.
Dude, that is hard math.
Knows how to do the math.
Dude, that is really hard math, though. I had a really hard time with trig.
What's up, Howard? Good to see you.
Shout out to Howard.
Shout out to Jennifer Thompson.
Hey, Jennifer.
Steve. Steve likes it. Ray is
Boom.
Sweet.
Is that Steve Vu?
That is the one and only Steve Vu. I don't know Steve Vu. Do you?
I do.
Okay.
He's my buddy.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So we got, what do we got here? We got 50. No, you know what? Let's go crazier. For this one, let's go 60, and then we'll make this one 66. And when you get into the higher type sizes, this is a really nice detail that I'm going to call out. So I remember I told you the rule of thumb is 120%. There are going to be cases where you actually have more room to play with. So, and this is the case for our 60-point type right here. So in this case, I'm actually going to set it 60 over 60. And this is a term they call setting it solid. So if anyone ever says...
Wait, it's 60 points, and then it's 60 pixels in between?
It's 60 pixels font size, and then 60 pixel line height.
Okay, and what did you call that again?
It's called setting solid.
Setting solid.
Yeah. So
there will be a quiz later.
Yes.
It's called your design career.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's just for Paul, though.
Just for me, though. I gotta remember all this. I gotta write this down.
So, man, that looks like a real H1 tag. Like, that looks really sharp. So we're gonna go backwards. I'm gonna go 54. We'll set this one at 60 because we don't want to go solid on that one. And then for this one, we'll go 48 over 54.
Aloha from Hawaii. Mark Moran tuning in.
Hey, aloha.
Into the typography element of this, which I'm into as well.
This is important stuff because this is a quote that one of my buddies, Augie Freeman, says to me, which is, if you're not thinking intentionally about how you use typography, you're not actually practicing design. Like, can you imagine if I was like, okay,
I'm like, you jerk, you're right.
okay, so
Why do you have to be right? Right?
I don't know. I mean, like, think about anything else you do in life. Like, what if I was like cooking you a dish? I'm like, oh yeah, let's add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just winging it the whole time.
Yeah, and you're winging it, like, yeah, as a cook or something like that, or chef.
Yeah, that's winging it. That's not like doing the thing. And don't get me wrong, there are some people who just like are, you know, freaks of nature in a good way, and you know, they're just like prodigies and they can totally wing it. But I unfortunately am not one of those.
Yeah, I think the people that wing it are still adhering to some standards in their head that art school gave them the reason of why they do what they do naturally. Like, you know, you can articulately explain what you're doing. The savants still do it the same way. They just they might not know why they're doing it.
So where are we at? We're at 3642. So like I said, this is the boring part, but trust me, your future self is gonna thank you.
Thank you, Howard. You can do the math right in XD, like you can in Illustrator.
That's right. See, what Howard doesn't know is I've got so many years of doing the math in my head.
What?
I know.
Nobody does things in their head anymore.
I know. Thank you, Howard, for that tip, though. I appreciate it. So we're at 36, 42, and then here we are at 30, 36. And the last one we're gonna do, we're just gonna go 24 over 30. So check that out. That is looking pretty good. Just make sure we line that up. All right, so we got our heading tags looking right. So again, you might be asking yourself, James, why did you get so meticulous on this? And I'm gonna show you right now. We're gonna add this into our components library. So boom, we're gonna jump back over into this. And then under character styles, so we'll do it if I Command K. Oh no, it won't. So I actually need to do it like this.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's not gonna do the.
Why am I doing this the hard way? I just like doing the one at a time. Let me just select them all, and click this plus here. Boom. There it is.
Does it do it in? Yeah, it does it in order from top to bottom.
So now, oh, look what I did. So look how powerful this is. So I'm gonna unselect them. Same deal, right? We're just gonna label them for reuse later. And it's, you know, we're gonna do the same thing. So
call one Todd, Larry, Bill, or H1, H2.
Larry?
Take the Bob. Put that in Bob. And Bob's like an H1.
Boom. So now I've got that set up, right? I've got our heading set up. See, should I do this for the paragraph? Yeah, I guess I should do it for the P tags. So we're doing all our hard work up front. This is our due diligence, and this is gonna make our actual designing of this web page like way easier.
Hey, Kwok Lee, we could read your comments and we can actually see you. What are these goofballs doing? What are us goofballs doing?
I don't know. You tell me, Kwok.
Kwok, what are we doing? You could just ask us. Just ask us. We're right here. Right now, are you gonna do the P tag then?
Yeah, we're gonna do the P tag now. So this will actually be a really good exercise because check this out. So I've got this. I think this one's still linked, right? Oh, is it? Oh, maybe not. So we're gonna do the same thing. One thing that I practice on my team is we actually add classes for our P tags because they're just a lot more use cases than just one P tag that we use. So if you think about the regular P tag as your like normal body copy, and you kind of like think about it the same way you go, we think about them like clothes. We think about P as being the medium. It's like you're a medium shirt size, but maybe you need like the extra large shirt size. So we go P, medium, large, extra large, all the way up to 2XL, and then we go all the way down to 2XS.
For the paragraph tag?
Exactly. So we add a
But
class.
wouldn't large be an H6 or something?
Yes, in this case it would. So the reason why we separate it out is in the case that you want to have a different font. So let's say we wanted to use another font like, let's use Playfair for example. If we wanted to have a Playfair be all of our heading tags, you see that we would fix that right there. But this would allow us to have that kind of flexibility to be able to separate the font families.
Okay.
But yeah, in any other case, it would be the same thing.
Yeah. No, that is good. Leo says, good design.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Leo.
we are just getting rolling because we're just creating the style guide. We are working in Adobe XD, making a travel website for Tokyo, and it's really doing these details up front that's going to make everything come together. It's going to alleviate so many headaches later on.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Plus, I'm just learning a lot more about typography and all that stuff than I thought I would, just in general. So this is good.
Don't worry, Paul, no charge.
Oh, thanks, bud. I did learn what setting solid is.
Oh, there you go.
I'm learning things.
Dude, ask Rachel. She knows a lot.
Rachel?
Rachel Elner. You know her, right?
I don't know if I do.
I'll show you.
Rachel Elner. This is another good resource that's unsponsored. I don't know.
She works here.
Oh, is she on the Typekit team?
She is, or maybe not the Typekit team. I forget. I'll show you afterwards.
There's a lot of awesome people here. Like they might be a product manager for whatever, and then you find out they're an amazing artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's lots of people like that here. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Mm-hmm.
So. Listen, if you have questions, by the way, we're doing portfolio reviews today. So you have less than 40 minutes to get those portfolios in. You can check out the portfolio review tab, which is right next to the chat tab, right there, and you'll just use that form to enter in or submit your portfolio. We'll review those in about 40 minutes, just so you know.
So this one I'm going to do a little bit differently. I'm actually going to start here on the regular default P tag, which we call medium. So there is some rule of thumb that I've read somewhere that says your body copy should be 14 points. So we've actually just increased it. So this is a case where we actually break our rule of having a lowest common denominator of 3, and we just use 16.
That's your P medium.
That's
All
right. Or also known as your regular P tag. So from here we go up, and then we also go down. So let's actually just go down because it's the easiest. So from here we got 16 over 24, and from here we actually can just go 14. And let's just go over 18. So we're breaking a couple of the rules just because of what we talked about. There's going to be cases where you want to set it intentionally to like not be on a lowest common denominator. So for extra small, we're going to do the same thing. In this case, we're using 15 here. This doesn't line up nicely. It's called like an alternating lineup. So if you have a long paragraph, your second line is not going to line up. Like here, let's just do it real quick. I'll show you.
Oh, yes.
But it will still line up. It will still line up. So let's turn that grid back on. So in this case, check this out. As long as you get that first baseline, your second line is going to be like, whoa, what's going on there, James? You told me lowest common denominator 3. Relax, don't worry, the third line is going to line up. This is called like an alternating alignment. This is something that Michael and Rachel taught me.
Okay.
Boom.
So yeah.
Not an accident.
Not an accident. I'm gonna quote you on that. It's really gonna be your quote. Not an accident. You think it looks random? Whatever. No, not an accident.
No. And so for 2XS, this is going to be like for your legal copy, whenever you have like any of that. So it gets pretty small. So we just set it at 9 over 12. That's where I usually set it. And we're going to tighten this up later. So we're going to go back up. So large, what do we say? 18 over 24 is good.
Adobe Live is right. You are actually, James is wearing overalls right now.
Oh, oh, that's right.
Why? Because you're going to work. You're working.
That's right. This is my farmer aesthetic. For anyone that...
oh, yeah. You gotta kind of rep the brand, but then you're like, also need to get down to work.
That's right. That's right. I was thinking about hitting the farm later. All right, so where are we at? We're at...
were you doing 2XL? I don't know why the XL is larger than the 2XL.
You're right. You're right. This is silly. This is...
But you're close. Let us know if you have more questions. I found some more panagrams, like the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Oh, yeah?
That's been around since the 1800s.
That's insane.
That's how long dogs have been lazy and foxes have been quick. But I like this one. Pack my box with 5 dozen liquor jugs.
Whoa. What?
That's actually panagram. That uses every letter in the alphabet.
What?
Pack my box with 5 dozen liquor jugs.
Sounds like a party trick.
Oh, there we go. This is the one Tim posted as well. I'm not going to read it back.
Did you find another one?
Yeah, but I can't even read it.
Okay.
It's too complex.
Oh, not safe for work, huh?
Yeah, there's like fjords in it and all sorts of things. And some of them just don't make sense.
So what I'm doing right now is just buttoning up everything, making sure that we whoever comes in here after, because this document is going to live beyond this live stream, and if we're designing it for a team, our team is going to thank us later for having it so like thoroughly documented and well laid out. So just making sure everything lines up on that grid. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for our heading tags.
And what's nice about this is like this goes for like any project. Like once you have this set up, you can change it per project.
Oh, for
change
sure.
the font. Like you're just creating a template to make more templates, kind of.
Exactly. Think about it as like your Swiss Army knife, and you're just kind of like slotting in all the different tools, and then after that you consider yourself Batman or Batwoman, and just go into every project and just put in new tools.
Put in new tools, ready to go.
So check
That's
this out.
what makes them a superhero is his tools. Just like to make you a super designer. It's all your fancy tools.
Exactly.
Your style guide.
So I want to talk
He's got
about
style to spare. You do.
So I want to talk about this. So one of the things that kind of messes up when you add this, it'll try to do it in a way that anticipates what you're trying to do.
Oh, does it put it in order of size?
Exactly.
And stuff?
So what I want to do is just put it down below the H6 so they're all grouped together. So that way you have all your heading tags set together and all of your body or your P tags set together. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to label them. What do we call this? 4XL. And we're going to keep all of that descriptive text too. That way whenever we're just looking at it, we can reference it with ease. I don't need to put the 1 for the XL. Medium. What's below medium? Small? XS. Boom. All right. Now we're all set up for typesetting. Check that out. So the nice thing is you want to make sure you link these character styles, and the reason why is because if you make a master change, for example, like let's say tomorrow, like our company, our website wanted to change from Proxima Nova to some other typeface. Let's just see what we got here. Let's say we wanted to use Rockwell. Let me first link this, and then I can show you how we can propagate all of that using all these link styles. So this we're gonna set at H. No, it's too big. So we're gonna do one overwrite, which is that color fill. But let's say tomorrow, let's say, what is this set to? 36. So let's say tomorrow we wanted to change this. It's the H4, right? We wanted to change this to Rockwell or something.
You know why? Because it's not linked.
Oh.
You need to link that one. The one on in the template is not, in the style guide isn't linked, I don't think.
Ah, I see.
So when you added them, it didn't link back to the original. It didn't like replace it.
I see what you're saying. So how do I link it then?
Just click on it, and then I'll add it.
Just
Boop.
like that? Oh. Okay. So boom.
Especially that one should change. Did it change?
No, hold on. Let me make sure that this one's linked now. So we got H3, right? Boom. Oh, you know what? I think it needs to update.
Yeah, you can, even if you, I think if you right click on that original one too.
Is this right here?
No.
Oh, you know what? This might only work for components.
It should change it. Like actually no, go over here, edit. This is how I've done in the past. We know we could do edit, right click.
Okay.
Edit.
Yeah.
And then change it in there.
Okay.
And then it'll change it everywhere.
Ooh. Paul Tranny coming in with the clutch pro tips. Look at that. Do you see that? Hold up.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so if I wanted to get crazy with it, look at that. They're linked styles, no problem.
But to your point, it would be nice if you, what I was looking for in there is like a push, propagate to all others is what it should say.
Right.
Just like it does with the other assets.
Yeah, so
But yeah, cool.
now you might be thinking, what's the point of this if I'm just working on this by myself? Well, if you're working on it yourself, there's no problem. You actually don't even need to do this. But when you're working on a large team that's distributed, then you want to make sure that everyone's using the same style guide. This is where it comes into play. Because if you don't have these linked styles, everyone's going to be working on like basically different facets, and you're going to have a lot of fragmentation in your design.
Yeah. And it makes it easy to change too. Like, yeah, this is super nice.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's take a peek at what is next. All right, so we got a tab controller here, and then we got form fields.
Oh, okay. I like that tab controller. That's nice.
Yeah, so the way that I'm going to design this, we'll go into, this is going to be a nice component to design because it's working that same thing. So we're just going to make it a little bit bigger actually. So we got our colors. I'm going to use that one.
Hugo Mendoza likes it. Awesome. Thank you, Howard.
All right, so,
Awesome. 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 Boom.
So actually, why am I doing it this way? So this is the reason why we have everything set up this way. So that we can just go, boom, what do I want? Do I want a medium? Do I want a large? Boom, there it is. Now I can override it.
Exactly, yeah. Nice.
So this is a good size. So we've got the 60 pixels. Let's just even this out. To make it, no, let's go 200. And we can just measure this. 51, does that feel right?
Unacceptable. We don't want it. No, it's not divisible by 3. It's not a round number. Like
Exactly.
so many.
That feels kind of weird. So we practice the same thing for our buttons and our tap targets. We're practicing that lowest common denominator of 360 so that we can line it all up. So check this out. Once this is there, this thing is going to be perfectly aligned on that grid. Look at that.
Yeah. I feel like this is pretty therapeutic for you. Like, you just feel good. Like, man, it's lined up. I am gonna sleep so good tonight.
Well, you
Is
know
that how it feels?
Well, you know what's funny is they say
I feel good.
there's two types of people in this world, right? They have the craftsmen and the gardeners. So craftsmen really want to measure everything and make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed. And gardeners are very much like leave it to the wind, you know, whatever happens, happens. So I'm very much a craftsman in that I love to measure, I love to slice and dice.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right, so we got this.
Oh no, Tim's right. Look at this.
What do you say?
51 is divisible by 3.
Oh,
3 times 17 equals 51. Tim, you are the man. You win the math prize for the day. Congratulations. You win the math prize. I love Tim. Tim's just he is a craftsman as well. Like, I feel like I wouldn't say craftsman versus gardener leaving it to the wind. I think there's a better analogy there somewhere. Because there's also the type that just like, yes, I know that it is technically exact, but visually it looks off.
Yeah.
So that type of person needs to exist somewhere.
So I've got this.
Just not in your world.
Not at this moment.
No way.
So I've got this component that I've created, right? So check this out. So we're gonna put this tab controller here. I've done a couple things. I'll label it too, you know what? I'm feeling generous.
Yeah, they want to know if you're going to share this file.
Yeah,
with the
absolutely.
world.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a small fee.
Yeah, am I allowed to? Yeah, just Venmo me at...
I think if you share it on your social channels, that would be good. Be like, hey, follow me. I'll, whatever. If you post it later, maybe end of day tomorrow or something.
Sure.
Just a thought.
Sure. So I'm gonna show you how I broke this down real quick. So I created this tab controller, which has 3 tabs. The design that we're gonna create is going to actually only assume 2. I'm gonna show you how to create this 3 so that you can recreate this and apply them to your own projects. So it's kind of the same thing that we did for our buttons, right? We created our on state and then we have our off states here. So for these ones, I'm just setting them to a black fill with 60% opacity and you can't see it right here, but it's got a 1 pixel border so that it's gonna kind of look nice on our dark background. So we're gonna do this, we're gonna repeat grid, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna create a couple different instances of it. Oops, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, you have like 5 different instances.
I know.
Oh, all the combos, buddy.
Exactly.
Look at you.
So we're just creating a master file for this, you know?
What is your next vacation or your next trip?
You know, I haven't planned it yet, to be honest, so still TBD. Oh wait, actually no, I take that back. I'm going to New Orleans.
Oh, nice. Like before the end of the year, like sometime, or what? I want to know exactly when. No, just kidding.
I was like, Paul, why you gotta be like that?
Like, what is it for? Tell me everything. I want to know. Just remain a mystery. Just for fun?
Just for fun, yeah.
Ew. New Orleans is fun.
Yeah.
Good time city. It's kind of where, if you live in the U.S., that's where you go to party. That's like I don't know. There's like Vegas, and then there's New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are 2.
You know,
those are 2 party places.
It's like interesting.
All right. How did I do this before? So let's see. So we've got
20 minutes for the portfolio. Before the portfolio reviews.
That's right.
I would love to, this is a very interesting question too, like, you want to book a trip? Where would you book a one-way trip to? Where would you do a round trip ticket to?
You asking me or you asking the audience?
I'm just I'm asking you and the audience. But it's a hard question. Like round trip, it means I'm only gonna be there temporarily.
Right.
New Orleans is a perfect round trip.
Right.
A one-way, let me go to Portland or Seattle or San Francisco area.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where do you want to live versus where do you want to visit? Those are like two different places.
Oh, for sure.
Could you live in Tokyo, do you think?
I think short term. I think culturally it's pretty different than the U.S., you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's part of the fun of living is going to different places and getting weird.
What? It's what? It's fun going to different places and getting weird?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it is. That's like
All right, so check this out. I'm labeling it tab one way, tab round trip, right? And these are just the different select states. So this one I'm going to name it tab multi-city. So boom, we got these three. We're going to group them.
yeah.
They're already in the right order. Oh, what did I just do? No, I want them to be on.
Oh, are those grouped? Looks like those are all grouped together.
Yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, that's going to be weird. So check this out. Let's create a component out of these.
Ooh, this is like the same technique. that you did
Exactly.
earlier. Interesting.
So and we're going to call this the tab controller. And so check this out. So we got our one way. We're just going to leave it default on one way because that's kind of the beauty of this project is it's assuming that you want to leave and assuming that you want to just go away. So that's the reason why it defaults to one way, economy, one adult. So that's it.
I love it.
So we've got our component here now, and it's kind of nice. So check this out. We can come down here. So actually, let's name it, and then we can name this one Hero CTA. So anytime I want to plug that in, boom, there it is. And then let's say it's not the right state. Jump back into your layers panel. Oh, let's turn on the multi-city one. Boom. And
There you are.
yeah, and you don't have to mess with it because the master component is down here somewhere. There it is.
Into it.
So there it is. Here's our child. We're actually we're gonna copy it and we're gonna bring it over.
Ooh, yes. Richard wants to go to New Zealand, to go to Middle Earth. Fantastic. I would love to go to the Philippines. Joe, to Manila. That'd be awesome.
So I'm actually gonna create a quick override. I'm actually gonna delete the multi-city because in our design we're just not gonna account for it.
Michael, I would say any place worth going is going to have loads of tourists. But I also think they're confined to certain areas.
That's true.
Any city you go to, there's going to be a tourist area around those popular attractions.
That's true. Tell Michael's just got to find those locals only sections.
Yeah, he could search this website. You know, this website will tell you all those local attractions. Down that dark alley, you know, where you can get, I don't know, design done for cheap.
There you go. So I'm actually cheating a little bit, and here's what I'm doing. I'm duplicating our component. I'm actually going to take the inner component, and I'm actually going to paste it so that it's not an instance of, it's not a child of this. And I'm going to create a smaller button that is very similar. So, and this is
Ooh, I like this button.
And so this here is going to replicate our economy and our adult drop downs. So we're gonna try to keep a same type of aesthetic, but we're gonna create these drop downs, and so we can get into the details of that one later. So I'm just gonna take this.
That's just so sad. Like,
What?
I don't know, maybe it's not sad. It's like one way, one adult.
You sound
Like, what are you what are you running from? Are you wanted by the government or something? What are you running from?
You sound like Pablo.
You can't run from life. Okay?
One way.
One way,
one
two
adult.
people, so much more fun.
I know.
Caroline wants to go to Japan. Let's see how many people want to go to Japan. Maybe we just like rent out a whole plane.
There you go.
Or however it works. You rent them? I don't know. We can just call Uber flights.
Call it
Uber
flights.
Jet. We're gonna get Uber Jet. We're gonna head over to Tokyo.
There you go. I'm actually gonna keep that.
One way.
All right. So
sad.
I know.
Economy. I'm depressed. I'm just joking.
We're just trying to get out of here. We're not trying to like break the bank.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, come on, don't ruin the dream. So the reason why I duplicated this component is because we want that same tap target. We want them to look like they're both tappable. Same size, same shape. Well, we're gonna tweak it a little bit here.
I love this little tweak too, by the way.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So I've just created the 9-pixel border radius. Thank you, thank you.
Designer respect. I'm into it. It's the little things. I will judge you on your rounded corners, sir.
Thank you.
And
Well,
you like passed with flying colors.
Hey, but hold on. You see this? 9 pixels.
Oh, what?
That's
Visible by 3.
It goes all the way in there.
It is just like when you lie awake at night, just like 3, 6, 9, 51 divisible by 13, right? Divided by 3. I don't know, all these numbers.
Yeah,
Just
not?
3s. You see 3s everywhere. It's like the Trinity everywhere.
It is.
Got this little handy little.
Yeah, so I've drawn my own little carrot instead of using one from my library, just because it's faster and I get to tweak it. So one little pro tip that I like to do is when you draw them, when you eyeball it, this is remember what we were talking about, being intentional, being meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
When you draw it, you'll actually get like these half pixel coordinates. So I'm here at 581.45. So I actually want to adjust that to just to round it. Whole integers only, no decimals. Boom. So look at that. Look at how legit that looks now. Hold on, we gotta adjust this one too. So this one looks a little lopsided.
It does a little.
So we're gonna.
And
well, that's the reason why we adjust it.
Okay, that looks pretty good.
Yeah. So there it is.
I don't know if you know that when you you probably do know this.
What?
You probably all know. I'm never telling you guys anything new. But again, with the same, we're making a triangle as well, right? Just like in Illustrator. Did you know you could do this with arrows?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so just using my arrow keys up and down, I can add multiple sides to a triangle.
How did you do? Oh, you're
So
right
right over here.
You're right in there.
There's 3 sides over there, I guess. That's
I
easy
see.
too. But like kind of while I'm drawing it out, you get the idea. So yes.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to contribute.
No, it's awesome.
I want it to be like a James and Paul design because I contributed that one time to one triangle.
We can.
No, it's okay.
So I'm doing a little bit of a hack here, so check this out. Here's our midpoint for our rectangle, but you'll see that our midpoint for our economy and caret doesn't line up, right? You might be asking yourself, why? Why doesn't it line up? So I'm doing something, so there's a difference between what's called technically centered and what's optically centered. So because this caret has this negative space here, we actually need it to be optically centered, which is technically not centered.
Can you do the technically centered? It's just to see what it looks like.
Oh yeah, I'll show you a side-by-side comparison.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll take a look. Don't say I never did anything for you, Paul. So you see that?
Yeah.
So it looks right? Or sorry, this is technically centered, but because it's got this space, look at how weird that looks.
Yeah. How do you do? So you optically aligned it, the one on the left. Is there a mathematical way to optically align things?
This one is totally winging it.
Okay.
This is one of those cases where you just got. And you know the funny thing is, I learned this one working with logos that have like a small little registered mark, and they have like a little or like a TM, because you know that word shape that it creates will also be off, right? So you need to optically align it and not technically align it.
And this is good. This is where the artist in you kicks in.
Exactly.
Versus the mathematician,
Exactly.
which you are more of than you let on. So, I knew it.
All right, so we've got this drop down. We're not going to make the states for it just yet, just so we can keep the ball rolling. But we are going to commit it into our components by pressing Command K. So now, I gotta make sure I get this right. I put everything in there except the words.
Oh.
So it's just a rectangle. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
So it's tough to see, but we're gonna bring this down. Just
Less than 10 minutes for the portfolio reviews.
Okay. And this is the reason why we have our grid set up, is so you can have that kind of nice alignment. So we're going to use 12 pixel padding here, and this one is going to be set to 1 adult. Boom. And check it out, it's starting to take shape.
It's looking really good, man. I like how everything is, I mean, it's cohesive and still like different enough. You know?
Thanks, man, I appreciate it.
Because it's like, you know, you did borders around some have a slight curve to them. It's not so boring. Like it could get very boring looking at a layout. And I think, you know, definitely you're a designer first.
Oh, thank you.
Again, when you showed the initial design, I was like, this is pretty. I want to be associated with this website.
So this is the beauty about having components. See what I just did there? I just had this idea when I was looking at this. I was like, you know, that's a little too pink. I'm going to adjust it on the fly. Here I am. I'm coming into a master component. I know it's a master component because I got that green diamond right there. Mm-hmm. And I'm coming in here and I'm like, let's get into the layers panel real quick. Make sure that I'm targeting the right thing. So here's the rectangle.
Because don't you have lots of them stacked there or no?
I do.
Okay.
But this is the only one that has a gradient.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tweak it and I'm gonna update to this new gradient that I just defined.
Ah.
Boom. Let's see. Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah.
It propagated.
I love it. It propagated. It propagated. Look at how subtle that is. Guess what? Nobody's gonna notice except for us.
Exactly.
And it's gonna matter.
It is gonna matter.
I also judge you on your gradients.
Thank you.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a not so fine line between a good gradient and a horrible gradient.
Didn't we had the same conversation
We
about
might
drop
have.
shadows, right?
Yeah, I have a strong opinion on some things.
On drop shadows?
On rounded corners and drop shadows.
Yes.
Why is it? It's all about subtlety.
It really is.
Like you just cut that in half,
Yeah.
scale it back. It's going to be 100 times better.
Yeah, don't use the 50% opacity that they give you.
Yeah.
Just make your own.
Just it's all about bespoke. We're doing some bespoke buttons.
So I'm seeing something that
So,
I want to tweak.
Ang Bo, our proud winner of Sticker Mule stickers, is wondering how you showed the
vertical grid.
Yeah, vertical grid.
How's it created? Oh, so Ang, it's created like this. So you actually have to select your artboard because it's an artboard property. And right here under grid, there's two types. You'll have layout and square. So layout is this column grid that you're used to seeing, and you can kind of define your columns. So I have mine set to 12 and 24 gutters. And so the vertical one, which is also known as a baseline grid, is this square option right here. And so I've set mine to 6, but you can set this to anything you'd like. I'm really particular and granular, which is why it's set to there. I was trained to set it here at 12. But I went even crazier, and you know, if you're working at another place, you can definitely set it to like 15 or whatever it may be. But you know, for these purposes, we're setting it to 6. But check this out. Oh, I wonder if it'll work. Because technically, if I set it to 12, it should still line up. Oh, hold on. Let's line everything up first.
Economy. One adult in economy, one way ticket. He's fleeing the scene of a crime.
What's the problem? Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Doesn't know anybody in Tokyo. Just wants to go get lost.
Why not? I wonder if this will work. I set it to 12. Oh, look at that. So
it did it. It could be like a 12.
It's still half here, half here, but it's still on.
Huh.
Look at that. Boom. You see that there, folks? Meticulous, intentional, surgical.
You are. You're like a surgeon when it comes to design. You're a design surgeon.
No.
Just cutting right into it. Getting to the core of what matters.
Trying to.
Dissecting this design as we can see the final here.
All right, so let's move on to our next component, which is going to be this form field. So
oh yeah, 5 minutes.
Until
I want it to say Tokyo, so space.
Like how? How's it going?
Tokyo.
So we're just gonna start by setting our form field.
And I want if you have an overnight flight, it's like I'm red eye.
Oh yeah.
And it's a red eye flight.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's a site. You know, there actually is a site that it will. Oh, what's it called?
Oh, what's it called?
We're getting off track.
You and the tangents.
Skip lagged.
Oh.
If you do a skip lag.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So.
I really love the concept of it.
Yeah.
The idea that you can book a flight, but then you could just like bail on it halfway.
Bail on it halfway.
It's like when you're in an Uber and you're like, oh, this guy's kind of creeping him out.
And you just open the door and roll out.
Exactly.
It's a safer version of that.
Much safer. Much safer.
Because it's cheaper to get off maybe a leg early, but they don't. Of course, airlines don't want you to do that. Skip lag will give you those flights supposedly.
Isn't that beautiful that people have figured out a way to just hack the system?
Yeah. I'm very into it. I can't figure out, I don't know the psychology behind why is it cheaper to not go all the way to a destination.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me, bro.
I don't know how most of life works, really. I'm like, what is this? What is this, taxes? How does this work? I give somebody money? Okay. How do things work?
All right. So
Departing airport.
So do you remember past James and Paul? We set all these styles up.
Oh, yeah.
See, present, current, James and Paul are going to thank us. So check this out. Boom. We got our departing airport. Let's see. What do we want? Which one do we want? We're probably going to set that to, yeah, let's try setting it to A6. Then we'll just create that override. New fill color. And look at that. There it is. So it looks ready, but it actually has way more states. So we're going to take it over here into our cutting board. I'm just going to start slicing it up, slicing it up. So one thing that I did over here that I didn't really talk about, this life pro tip, I created this dark rectangle. And the reason why is because we have light colored components. And so because my background is already set to white, unless I want to change to something dark, it's going to be hard for me to see anything. So that's why I've created this little patch for me to work on. And then I go ahead and lock it so it doesn't mess with me. So the same way that we created our, oh, what am I doing? I'm doing this the hard way again. The same way that we created every other component, we're going to kind of duplicate these for the different states that they have. So for form fields, there's multiple ones. We're only going to count for 4 main ones, which are going to mimic our button component.
Let's see, departing airport. You need airport and then date.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And
Yeah, we do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to create... So I'm just going to create that as a label.
Sweet.
So there's lots to think about here, actually. So we're going to ungroup these. So we have our label here. Oh no, you know what I forgot? This is no good. I forgot the placeholder text.
Ah. You know, you can always go in and add that later, as long as you don't break it apart, which is what you probably were going to do anyway.
Yeah, I broke it apart.
Shout out to Tokyo, that's right. I guarantee you, Tokyo has to be definitely within the top 5 most desirable places to travel to.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Right?
For sure.
I mean, it's hard to say what's number 1, but it's within the top 5 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could ask anybody in the US, they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to go to Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. So this actually is a nuanced thing.
Tokyo?
This is a nuanced thing that we didn't really talk about, is setting your colors for type. So we have some default styles set here and everything's set to gray that I'm like kind of overriding on the fly as I need, but as I'm creating this component, I'm realizing I was like, oh, actually I should define this color for disabled text or placeholder text. So I'm gonna add that into our swatches. So this is a new row here that is just for our for a gradient, but we're gonna create a couple swatches that we need, that we know we're going to need. And we're just going to define that stuff up front. So I practice the same thing, which is, you know, defining a dark, which is going to be our black, and then we go to dark. In this case, I've got this memorized.
Yeah, you do. Welcome back, Lindsay. She's been in a 2-hour meeting.
Oops.
I think, henpecked by a committee.
Poor
You
Lynn.
get back in there, Lindsay, and you stay in that meeting. It's probably about somebody's. It's an HOA meeting.
Yeah.
Somebody's bushes are too long, and they have a 2-hour meeting on it.
Oh, God.
I don't know. So these are all your neutral colors for.
Exactly.
I'm sure we'll find out exactly which ones. Ooh, our time is up too for that portfolio submissions.
Okay. Is it time for that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Well, I'd say since Lindsay's here now, everybody. She's out of her meeting, and you know what? All we get to do is enjoy a couple portfolios.
Let's do it.
And then we'll come back and revisit this because you have so much of this set up. I want this file, and then everything's going to be based off this one file.
Sure.
But I'd say let's take off. Let's dive into portfolio reviews, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Welcome back, everybody. We are in space now. What? Keep your head. James is still keeping it classy. That's right. Always looking good, buddy. Looking good. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Paul, you didn't tell me you didn't spray these things out.
So many gross heads have been in those things. Ugh, just kidding. But we are happy to be in space looking down on these two beautiful portfolios. We just picked two. That, not so random, but we go through them. We only have a chance for two. Starting right here, you can see Ash J. I do not know if Ash J is here, but if he or she is, it has to be like super late or early in the morning, New Delhi. I could only imagine. Mark that as one of the places I'd love to go. Graphics and UX UI design. Scrolling down.
Ooh.
Pretty good project views. Diving into on the path to become a successful designer, currently in university.
Oh.
Softwares I'm going to use PS, XD, AI, and graphics field for about 2 years, a year and a half. Let's talk. Love it. Keeping it casual, and this is fun. Awesome. Getting involved in our daily creative challenges, which just started up again today.
Nice.
This Monday. So this will be fascinating. Maybe we'll start with this one down here just to kind of see the progression.
Sure.
We won't have a chance to look through all of these. So yeah, this is a daily challenge. Create a polling app. So I used everyone's favorite pizza as the question for the poll.
Oh, is this a prototype?
Yeah, I don't think it's interactive.
Oh.
But this is... Any thoughts? Or...
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, this was done in a day. So congratulations just knocking this out. Chances are it's done in a day.
Yeah, I think visually it looks really nice. It's a little monochromatic. I mean, not a little. I mean, it's like 90% monochromatic. One thing I might recommend is just using color to help differentiate the interactive elements. So in this case, I know that you're using the screen as like a accent colored, even for your background, but as a user interface, color is its own medium, and you can use that to communicate like this is something you can click on. So if you've got your icons as green, as well as your radio button here that's green, it's going to be hard for people to understand what they should click on and what they shouldn't.
Yeah, and I would say, honestly, this is just hard to read. I mean, type has one job, which is to convey something in writing. For sure. Right now, I think they're using more of a display headline font in here rather than something that's more legible. Because the big problem I have is this stuff is just it's hard to read.
It's a little tough to read, yeah. And this harkens back to our whole type fundamentals for mobile. We practice 16 point.
Yeah, but I mean, cool. I like the being adventurous with this color because this is a pretty unique color.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of this. I'm super proud of it. You get a little, like, I feel like this is very graphic and abstract, and these get a little more detailed. I don't know if these are departure up from the style. This almost looks like sort of stock art that was added later, and I'd rather see these simplified. I'd unify the design of those two things.
Yeah, those are fun explorations.
Yeah. But yeah, way cool. I mean, I don't even mean to pick on this. Like, this is like, yeah, I'm knocking out a project. I'm knocking out another project. We won't go through all of these, but we'll kind of click through and just kind of see the progress. Like, this looks better in terms of like maybe the, type. This is easier to read. I love this. Is nice. Right? This gets a little stronger, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of the things I really love about that overlay -1 screen is that it actually uses the full width of the button. So in that last project that we just looked at, the submit button was real tiny. It maybe looked like, maybe it was like 40 pixels wide. This one is definitely a lot wider, and it's probably just is a good tap target. So the thing that we want to keep in mind is we want to make things easy to use. Why? Because when they're easy to use, people are going to use them.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not overcomplicate it. I want to get to some of the newer ones too, if we can kind of click out of that.
Sure.
Ooh, this is just, I just love this gradient and this color scheme. This is...
BTS, do you know BTS?
The group? Yeah.
Look at you, cultured.
Oh, did I just go to the, let's click back.
You broke it.
Get to know BTS. Yeah, we'll get to know them.
All right.
Problem, they exist as a band. Solution, no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Solution at... Oh, so it's like a breakdown. Okay. So it's kind of like a marketing site to help people understand each of the members. This is probably one of my favorite projects from this portfolio, just because of the different visual design solutions that are here. Very technical. Even I can see that there's like clearly a grid in place here.
Yeah.
And this is a technique that I really love, is this overlapping photo and across two different sections.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. It breaks the it kind of breaks the barrier, makes things exciting. And even though it's using a rectangle, it's still really cool to see.
He has a 4D personality.
I love that.
Know what that means, but yeah, this is fun. These little illustrations. I will say this when you get into the details of it, this is obviously thicker than this. If you scaled this up to like an Illustrator, you can turn off scale strokes, and that'll keep the line thickness the same. But otherwise, like, this is hot too, right? This layering.
Oh yeah, this is a fun visual design.
Strong, like, yeah.
And this is a fun one-page design.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The way this is broken up, because otherwise all this stuff would be floating around, but you add those blocks that kind of stabilize it.
Exactly.
And keeps it from looking messy and kind of all over the place.
For sure.
Ooh, let's go to the newest works collection, shall we? Oh man, how many do we have?
Whoa. That's a lot.
That's a lot going on. But this is kind of the idea of, like, adding some styles like you were doing.
Exactly. So this is the same concept, right? You take one brick, and then you actually you're taking that brick and you're making a wall, and you take that wall and then you're making a shed, and then you take the shed and you're making a house, right? So
interesting.
You kind of build up each component.
Yeah. Yeah, and here you are, like, kind of again just like building your house, building your screens, your different rooms.
This is fun.
This is kind of interesting. When I see these two side by side, I almost want to be like, which one's better? I'm picking one. I don't know if that's the purpose. I don't know the difference between these two, if I should be, but...
Oh, I think they're just variants of card design. So this one looks like it's probably for desktop. These ones here for mobile. This one's optimized for like a weird, like one of those...
banner ad?
I forget what yeah, exactly. That weird size is. It's like a skyscraper, but it's like the opposite because it's like rotated. It's like a landscape skyscraper.
Yeah, is it landscape?
I don't know what it's called.
I used to make those back in the day.
Yeah, stopped working in ad tech long ago.
I know, me too, man. I was like, I remember making skyscrapers. I remember making all those.
Yep, the IAB.
Yeah, these are cool. Yeah, very cool. Anything else you want me to click on?
Yes, let's click on this one.
And
Twitch streamer identity. Oh, it says a branding project. New visual identity for a Twitch streamer. New logo and icon. Main idea is to give the identity a retro gaming style, which will help link with the viewers better. All right. So here's the different colorways. Let's keep looking at it. Oh, that's fun. Final output. Is that it?
Yeah, I love these two. This is, it says retro to me.
I see.
Okay, so stream will start soon.
Yeah, I think that bitmap typeface that you're using is really successful. As far as branding projects go, I really like how it's being applied here, so you get to like see it in the wild. What I would love to see, and this is actually what I look for when I'm looking at design candidates, is I love to see the process work. So show me how you got from the sketch into like the higher fidelity sketches into the final output. So I love seeing the in-between, right? So right now, I've got the top bun and I've got the bottom bun, but I'm not seeing any of the contents in between.
Yeah, it is cool. There's almost a mixture of styles here, though, I feel like. This is bitmap, and then we have these smooth corners. And my first thought was, like, are these hard edges? Like, is this more blocky? So it does kind of make it look newer and more contemporary with the rounded corners. Right. But I love this. I mean, I think this is the strongest. The colors and this bitmap font is, like, what does it?
It's very, you know what this looks like? It's, like, very Street Fighter 2.
Okay, yeah.
Very like Capcom circa 1997.
I will say what's bothering me a little bit is like all the spacing in here, and I feel like what do you think of that?
Yeah, you got
thoughts?
This is another thing, which is why it always goes back to the typography, right? When you set this stuff, you want to make sure you're kerning, and when you're doing 3-letter like lockups like this, you're gonna have these weird rivers that come across. So you have to figure out how you're gonna problem solve this. So because of that negative space, it's creating a disruption, and this is what we talked about, right? When you have like a weird space where it doesn't look like it's supposed to be, it kind of interrupts the flow if you're reading. So I'm reading Dan Delia, and it's kind of hard for me to consume it.
Yeah, especially with such a unique like first or last name or whatever. Like I don't know if it was something more common. It was Philadelphia, then I would get it. Like you're okay dealing with a certain amount of space, but I don't know if it's like if this is a separate word. Is what it almost feels like to me. Almost.
Right. And the I is tough because it's such a small word shape or letter shape.
Totally. Thank you for viewing. Fantastic. Ash, you do like pretty strong. I love how Ash is getting involved in the daily challenges. Is only going to get better, right? And already you can see this graphic style. Like, yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. No, I love that BTS project. That was probably my favorite one.
I agree. Let's move on to our next one. Make sure we have time for it. And this is Danning Liu, product designer from Canada.
Canada, wow. Dude, look at that avatar.
Loving it.
Yeah. It's a self-portrait.
Yeah, I did not know. It's super cool.
So you just got to scroll past the follow button? You're not going to follow?
I did follow. Yeah. You're like, you really? You just throw some shade at them?
All right, let's
you throw shade. Ooh, look at all this stuff.
Ooh, dude, there's a lot here. Hold on, what do I want to look at?
Let me see. Well, some of these, these are day 4. Okay, so these are different challenges.
Okay. All right, it's dealer's choice. You choose.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this one, which might look day 6, day 7. Let's go to this one.
Okay. This is a video?
The account settings experience for a movie app.
Oh, I see. Oh, so it is a prototype.
Okay. Boop. There we are.
Look at that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of
this probably needs some work. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So my initial thoughts are. Well, actually, will you zoom out a little bit so I can see the whole thing? So I see this notch up here at the top of the viewport, and so it's leading me to. I'm not certain actually, but it looks like it's for an iPhone X. So designing for a platform, rest in peace, mobile Windows phone. You're either going to be designing an iOS app or an Android app. So the really important thing is to make sure you read up on the playbooks. And for iOS apps, it's the Apple Human Interface Guidelines. And for Android apps, it's going to be the Google Material Design Handbook. So just looking at a couple of these, I can tell that they're not using any of the patterns that people are familiar with. And the reason why you want to use these things is because people spend a lot of time with their phone. They're used to these things that they've seen over and over again, not only in the traditional OS apps, but also in everyone else's app. So that
Yeah, well,
so let's go. Yeah. So with that being said, scroll all the way to the bottom. This this menu that kind of pops out from here is, I think, a little uncommon and not traditional. So not that that's bad, but if you go against the grain, you're not being able to leverage everything that's already kind of laid the foundation out for this platform. In terms of layout, it looks a little bit unfinished. So the reason why I say that is because of that rounded corner in the top left, but none of the other rounded corners are rounded. So it looks to me like it might be a screen cap, or it looks unintentional. The same for that close button. So the
sorry, I was going to go back and click on it again. Okay.
yeah, so that close button, the padding bottom on it is like really tight, and that also looks unintentional. It doesn't look like it was meant to be there.
Yeah.
So I would get tighter on the layout. In terms of the use of space, I think it's okay in terms of, because it's just the one column, but I mean, it's using a lot of space here for just these five options.
This tends to, it feels like it's just floating there, and I kind of want to ground it. So like, are there just like some nice light lines or something to kind of, it just needs to be grounded somehow. It just seems like it's floating around. I would put this up here. I would just have an X. I don't think you need to say close. You know. And
the other bit of detail is like, so whoever's going to be viewing this, whether it's like a future employer or, your professor at your university, let them imagine a little bit. Like, plug in the imagination. Don't just use John Doe. Like, maybe use your real name, or use somebody else's name. Really try to sell that this could be a real product.
Yeah, into it. Cool. But good job. Just kind of clicking through. So this is good. I really like this layout.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if this started with some sort of kit, UI kit. I'm not sure. It's hard to figure out. But I think that's good to point out in a portfolio.
For sure.
Say what you did and didn't do.
Right.
But all this is like, that's all super cool.
Looks very Android-y.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Like these little squares. Let's get out of this. Let's move to something more recent.
Sure.
Should we go to this top one?
Sure.
Podcast app. Oh, it's already a huge difference in this project.
Whoa, it animates.
Sorry, did it just jump down, or was that me?
Oh, look at that. Do you see this? This marketing page looks nice.
Yeah. Podcast app.
Oh,
You learn more. Oh, persona. Into it.
We got some UX work in here. Let's take a look.
Color. Let me know if I'm going too fast.
No, this is good. This is pretty nice. That's really thoroughly documented. So it's like interesting because you're doing exactly what we're teaching today, which is like defining your components, showing the wireframe. This is what I talked about earlier, which is like, how did you get from stage 1 to stage 2?
Yeah, this is really good. And this takes a lot of work, and it shows.
I'm a big fan of this marketing page too. Where I feel it's a little distracting is this bottom shape right here. So everything else looks sharp, like really crisp, like it's a vector shape. This one looks hand painted, and that actually comes across as unintentional. So whether or not it was intentional, it's a little bit of a distraction.
Yeah, looks like it's made with a brush.
Right.
These are nice.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Let's see, what is it? So
we might actually. I think there might be a prototype at the bottom. You can click through too.
Wait.
Sorry.
Is this the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Danning. Dannings.
Danny, watch that widow on that detail. Make sure you're being intentional about where you let your type fall.
Yeah.
And then look at that. Overwatch fan, huh? Dark mode.
Dark mode. Love it. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to. Is this. Click. Boom.
Ooh,
night mode. Oh yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, cool.
Oh wait, hold on. So this is a content browsing app? Ooh, I love that transition.
Yeah. Lots of work going into this. Indication of that one episode being played.
Let's see. Let me just finish watching it. That was really nice. Danny, I really love a lot of the design decisions that you made in here, and the prototype really showed a lot of thoughtful, meticulous design solutions as well. Let's watch through it one more time. Boom.
Yeah, it's a lot of screens in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that the night mode is just 2 clicks away.
That's a nice transition.
I love that transition. Yeah, really nice work. I would just say tighten up those small details, and that's really what's gonna like bring your design work to the next levels. Is that attention to detail? Because that's kind of the reason why people bring you in, right? Because you're a creative professional. You're bringing ideas to the table, and you also have that attention to detail. Like you know exactly what corner radius like pixel that is.
I love this right here. Did you notice this circle? I assume this is the playtime. We're about 40% through. That's like really good.
That's a good bit of feedback.
Super strong. I love how this white on green, all the right choices. Like I think the font and like everything's working pretty well. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Let's get out of this. Fantastic, Danning. Let's see. We really only have about like a couple of minutes left.
You have time for one more?
Yeah, let's get into this.
Okay.
This one.
Ridgeling.
We got a persona, like so good. Oop, I don't know why it always. Let's launch the prototype. Let's just get into it because this is what the end user would see.
Yeah. Boom. Oh, that's fun.
Love it.
That's fun. Ooh,
Zoom.
That was a really fun animation.
Welcome back. It's good to be back. Thank you. I'm gonna log in with Google. Hey, I got some exciting adventures. Okay, let's look at this adventure.
Oh, it supports horizontal scrolling? Japan Unrivaled, that's relevant.
Oh, that one's scrollable too.
Can you scroll down?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can scroll down. Yeah, that's fun. I like swiping left and right. Seems to be doing its job. It's probably me clicking around. Let's try to click into this one. Let's go forward. There we go.
You broke it.
Yeah, so it looks like it just does this. Oh, there we go. But I really like this yellow. I like this nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, I can tell this is really intentionally thought through. Will you zoom out just a little bit? Danny, the position of these icons seems a little low for me, but yeah. I get it if you're designing specifically for an iPhone X because you have to design for the notch. But if you're going to do that, I would just say add the notch in so people understand.
Yeah, good call.
Unrivaled. That's fun. So I guess they're like vacation packages. 562. Oh. Does this mean 5 days in Tokyo, 6 days in Kyoto, and 2 in Osaka?
Maybe.
Yeah, that might be helpful just to add that labeling. Otherwise, you'll have people like me and Paul being like, what does this mean?
Oh, we got some more horizontal scrolling.
Right.
Sorry, I can't seem to.
This is
let's book it. We're going.
There it is.
We're officially charging my credit card. Fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's great. Great job.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite projects from this one.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, that is a radial.
Let's get into that action.
That is a radial menu. Look at that. That is fun.
Yeah. Ooh, we can go right in here. What do you think about center versus left justified?
I think it depends on your content. So in this case, I think it's okay actually. Because
I think it's okay. Usually I wouldn't advise to center, but it totally works here.
Yeah, the example that I like to talk about is like, imagine the difference between a wedding invite versus a novel. You would never read a novel centered aligned.
Yeah, exactly. I would say like very rarely would you ever center a paragraph.
Yeah,
that's not a good move.
For sure.
But yeah, that's fantastic. Boop, boop. You get it. Boop,
That's fun.
On and on. So this is a great job. We're kind of winding down. I want to, yeah, we're like a minute out. But Danning, you did an exceptional job. Ash J did an excellent job as well. Especially their time spent. This portfolio was just created like a year ago. So, so impressed with the amount of work people do. And we want to honor you by reviewing your portfolio and ripping it to shreds. No, just joking. Just joking. All right. Yes, thank you so much, Tim, for posting that. James, I appreciate you, man. How you feeling?
Feeling great.
You're the man. Everybody wants that file you're making. They're like, no. We're coming back tomorrow,
Don't worry.
and you're giving me that file.
Don't worry, we'll get into it. We're going to see the rest of it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks, James. That's all we have for you. Thank you so much, Lindsay and Joe and everyone hanging out with us. Join us tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We have the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge and then a full day of fun work and play for you. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.